need to pick something that can kind of match this tempo because okay, TA's interesting, but like SMG is gonna be running at you. Like that's
Yeah.
is gonna be a hard game when Ember is gonna be able to connect so well onto like Beastmaster, who's gonna be in the enemy's jungle. Like Grim's gonna be playing around him. They're just gonna constantly be like looking to like get pickoffs. So like Bane, he's gonna be setting up. It feels hard, and TA is like TA's a TA game. You know what I'm saying?
It's a tough, and this is a tough TA game.
Yeah.
Like these are not heroes you typically feel good about playing into. I think they like it probably because it's just it comes online just with a couple of items like Blink Deso and you can maybe fight, or even just like your Deso Dragonlance.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a hero that doesn't like the idea of SMG just like death bowling down lanes, taking towers. TA doesn't want to fight into that. Maybe it's just a hero that has a lot of physical damage and split push that you can push other lanes.
Do you think they even have enough catch on Execration to deal with this Ember on SMG? I know that they have obviously
It's okay.
the Rubik Lift and the Ogre stun, but is that really enough to be able to fully lock down an Ember?
Well, TA's Shard gives her a silence on her traps, which is probably going to help as well. And Queen of Pain has the opportunity to go Orchid, which could force him into like a defensive build. Because Embers typically they like to buy Corrosion and then go fight, and they like to buy Maelstrom. So if you're forcing him to like be playing more carefully, that's pretty good.
But I guess that's a hard thing. Then it's all about this itemization and these power spikes, right? You're like not coming into this being like, yeah, we can already immediately deal with this person with our draft. It's like, okay, we can only deal with him once we get these items.
Yeah.
I think one of the nice things about TA is like this burst physical damage against a hero like Ember who wants to play aggressive, get in your face with the Inkswell, that he has to always be wary that if he gets lifted or hit by if he wants to be able to dive in, and these supports both do have that insta stun, and if there's a TA there with a meld strike hit, you're going to melt really fast. So that burst damage potential with TA Quap at least threatens the Ember and kind of prevents him from playing too aggressive. I still don't love it, but we'll see. I think Execration really needs some tanky frontline Friner, that that guy that can just sit there and defend towers, that Tidehunter type hero. Brewmaster gets banned out. Yeah, right now they're definitely missing that tanky boy.
I'm trying to think of the lane because I actually don't know how the Beastmaster TA matchup is like. I haven't seen it enough, so I'll be watching this lane closely. Because assumably this is Queen of Pain mid, although obviously they could flex it off lane like other teams do, like T1. But TA into Beast Grim seems difficult to me because her refraction gets eaten up really fast by the boars and the Inkswell. So it doesn't it seems like they have a lot of kill potential, and Ogre as a 5 I don't think is the greatest frontliner for you against Beastmaster. Like after you get level 3 and you have 2 points in boars, it becomes very hard for Ogre to trade into you anymore.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, yeah, maybe the side blades to help kill the boars might be nice. But it feels like one of those matchups like similar to mid where it's like maybe a bit of a skill matchup where how well the TA can use those side blades to harass, snipe some boars.
Well, we see the bans finishing out here. Tidehunter is in the pool. They're still able to pick it up on the side of Execration if they wanted to. Do you think it is something that they are going to pick up? Because you said that that's what they probably needed to round out their draft.
I still like it here. It's Grimstroke's kind of like that soft counter where you can get the silence on him, that he can't just purge off. He has to actually kill the bug. Tide's still looking pretty good, and there's now a TB that comes out. Trying to think what else it would be. The Centaur and Brewmaster banned out. Kimizu's played the Centaur. You mentioned it kind of being a key hero for him, so that's kind of a target ban. But yeah, if it's not Tidehunter, maybe an Underlord is
I was going to say
hero.
Underlord or Sand King. I mean, Sand King's a little unconventional, but it has a stun, a little weak in the laning phase, though.
I like the Underlord a lot. The roots seem really good against heroes like Ember. Sand King also pretty good AoE, just maybe a bit squishier. I think the laning stage can be a bit rough.
There's a potential they just forego all of that and pick something that helps them do Roshan, and then just roll really hard with TA. Because they don't have anything that helps them Roshan right now, like other than just TA alone.
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure what that is.
Tide.
They'll just do Tide.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Simple Dota, yeah.
We talked about it. It worked well in Series 1. Sometimes you just do something simple, basic, easy to execute. But we have both drafts completed now, with SMG picking up Terrorblade for mid 1 and Tidehunter as the last 2 picks on either team. Thoughts, predictions, where do you think this game's going to go?
Thoughts? What is that TA set? That looks like a thing of my nightmares. I like SMG. I think they're just a team that plays really well and playing fast. Ember Grimstroke. But if Execration can keep their towers alive and not let the SMG steamroll go, which comes down to maybe Kamizu's tide, could be a close game.
I think it's difficult for SMG to like dive and take a tower because of the ability to just ravage them all. I think like there's a lot of punish in Rubik, Tide, and Quap. So I do think they'll be able to give Nando the space to farm on TA. It's just like worrying, like if it goes too late, I think TB just kind of owns them all. But yeah,
That's TB though. You let a game go long enough, and he's gonna just absolutely ruin your time. So it's gonna come all down to timing. Who's gonna have the better late game? Who's gonna have the great laning phase? But that is gonna be it from us talking about it. We're gonna hand over to John and MLP for game number 1 between SMG and Execration.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we go into our second series of the night between Execration and SMG. And what is MLP johnxfire? John, welcome back, sir. Second series of the night. How you doing?
Doing great. This should be quite the banger as well. Execration. I was talking a bit to Vincenzo for that player matchup. They seemed pretty confident. You know, they were making fun a bit of Raging Potato, the sole Filipino to go to the Malaysian stack. So they've got a target to look out for. And you can see it already in the all chat. Good luck to Ryan J, to Mr. Bimbo himself. So all of Execration's going to be looking for that guy on the offlane to shut down the traitor among us, the imposter on SMG, and see if they can kind of work it around there.
It's been a lot of all chat today, I've got to say, John. I mean, usually you and I, we get to see a lot of the all chat here in Southeast Asia, but today's been extra special, I feel. Just everyone very excited as you see that lovely Naruto sticker, John. You wouldn't know, but I understand the reference.
Yeah, Jack looking great there, channeling his inner weeaboo. Very nice. I love what our producer Pitian did last time. Remember that? He stuck the game pause right in the middle, and which is perfect. It's perfect. Fortunately, we don't have pauses this time. It should be keen. Both sides looking to be aggressive here, Mike. Sneaking around, looking for maybe an opportunity.
Vincenzo, he's having a look around for the ward. Looks like they have pinged out the exact location of it. Problem is, SMG, they're going to be around to make sure that does remain protected. So chances are they'll have to wait a little bit before they go for that D ward. Still, bounty runes, mid one. He was thinking about it for a second, but just sees how many heroes are around and we'll just leave it be. It'll still be a 2-for-2 start anyway. Very even kind of start here for both these sides. And let's start off with the bot lane, shall we? Of course, you've got Raging Potato there, along with Fu against Nando on that TA, and I believe we have a support Ogre on its way, thanks to Vincenzo. John, this bottom lane, do you feel like it goes either way in terms of the matchup?
I think it's going to be pretty tough for Nando. I don't think he deals with the boars all too well. I think Raging, once he hits his level 3 spike with level 2 boars up, it's going to be a bit hard for Tia to just stand. I mean, your refraction's just going to slowly melt. You've got Afu around who could maybe ink swell the boar as well if you want to get a bit of a chase going. Vincenzo is going to have to really work double time to put his body forward. And he's doing that right now. At the least, he gets the ignite off, starts to run down Afu. Afu does have the Windlay start to kind of try to zone out. And it's in this level 1 to 2 where it feels a little bit better for Nando. So that's what they have to focus in on. Get as much as they can, zone out as best as possible, because it's not going to be an easy lane for the TA as it builds up.
Well, that it won't. And you already see Vincenzo just getting so aggressive. The top lane, well, Roger kind of copying the same kind of treatment here from Execration as Carlo and Kamizu trying to give it to Roger. Because mid one already popping that Metamorphosis, just trying to get that initial wave of farm going for himself. So eventually it is going to be a very tough laning stage here for the Terrorblade. There's not really much you can do against the Tide Rubik, and well, they're going to go for a bit of a chase onto Roger, but looks like they won't really be able to find him in time. And that's really the last lane that we did have a quick glimpse at just then, is the mid lane, where you will see Bob and Moon against each other. Very even matchup thus far between the two, John. Do you give an advantage to either?
I think this lane holds steady for both sides. You do have slight mobility advantages for Bob early on, if he does opt for the blink. So you can kind of jump out, maybe grab a water rune, a power rune down the line. There are ways for Moon to kind of dodge out the Shadow Strike buildup that Bob has opted for as well, going for a 2-0-1 build. You can just try to slide a fist away, but every single time that spell lands, you're going to be copying it. You can see Bob just leveraging his range quite nicely, forcing Moon away. He has to be a bit careful here.
Luckily that last hit actually missed uphill, otherwise it would have been a very close call there for Moon, but it does seem like he was quite confident in being able to get away. that level 2 Flame Guard, just keeping him safe from the Shadow Strike, but Bob just wants to keep it going, obviously. We'll see if he can apply the pressure he's looking for. So far, Moon's having a great old time, but top lane, Roger, he is not having a great time, as he will be chased down, and eventually Carlo will be able to pick up that first blood gold. And we always kind of said this back when Carlo was still named BDZ, but this man's Rubik is very scary. It's going to be a fantastic start here for Carlo.
Yeah, it just really slows down mid one's lane, right? Like, you're a Terrorblade, every single time Metamorphosis is down, you have to be scared of the Anchor Smash and the Fade Bolt. Like, you're not going to have the damage to really CS in peace here for mid one. That's going to make this lane a lot tougher than it should be for him. A lot hangs on Roger to look for the pulls, to get the attention away from these two heroes, but you don't want to feed kills as well, because once Carlo builds up on his Rubik, once he hits level 6, he's going to rush to Blink, he's going to rush to Aetherlens. We've seen this time and time again. He knows what spells to steal, and he knows how to use them in the middle of a fight. So you've got to be worried about bleeding out to that pause 4.
Well, Nightmare out top lane. They're going to try onto Kimizu, and he's fairly low right now, so they might have a chance with the Brain Sap out, but mid one unable to dive the tier 1 tower, of course. So Kimizu going to be able to be salved up here by Carlo and survive. Not too bad of a start here for Execration. They are still maintaining this top lane, but it does feel like mid one's getting a little bit too much here on this Terrorblade, considering the laning matchup. I suppose he is using Metamorphosis every time he has the chance, so you can't really stop him once he does commit that, as Kimizu is going to try and rush forward now as the meta does wear out. In the meantime, they do lose the TA bot lane, but Kimizu, he's going to drop here to Roger, and now with the Nightmare out, they've even got Carlo locked down, and that should be a nice easy kill, at least for Roger, as he tries to chase him down, but the Fairy Fire is going to buy enough time for Carlo to get out. But they still got Kimizu. They even got the TA down bot.
It's starting to shape up for SMG. Like, the turnaround play top is great. The kills down bot are even better. Like, Nando, we talked about his lane being a tough one. We're at that level 3 spike mic. Raging has the level 2 Boris. They can just look to run down. They've got level 2 Inkswell as well. They can burn right through the refraction and just apply pressure onto the TA, who really doesn't have that much distance to play with on this lane. You have level 1 side blades. Can't really stand far back enough.
Playing on the edge here, Moon and Bob just trying to get each other down as the blink is forward. Bob, he's got him. Oh, there's a very close call there for the Queen of Pain. He was the one to drop it down a bot lane. They found Nando again, and now they could just chase down Vincenzo. Zafu and Raging will just keep the chase up. The balls are not within range to connect to the Ogre, but at the very least, they got Nando a second time, and I'd say that's just an amazing kill here for SMG.
Yeah, they're really keeping that big win condition in the TA down. Nando's escalation so long. He has to walk back to lane as well, Mike. He already used his TP early on from dying earlier on as well. So he's losing a lot of farm in that lane. You're allowing Raging to just build up very fast. That timing onto the helm, the Dominator, is going to be really quick. And the escalation into the Overlord as well, it's not going to be too long. That's when the push strat of SMG can really come out. They can just look to run down early towers with mid one when he has when he has Metamorphosis up. Even then, even without it, they could just run down with just the Beastmaster and maybe have Moon stand around looking for a kill op. Like, you have a lot you can play with here.
I think you do. Still having a fantastic lane, but bot lane, Nando again going to be in danger. Carlo's going to rotate this time around to make sure they don't lose him a third time. Fu, he'll be the one to go down as they get the Fire Blast out onto Raging. Lift is there. Carlo should be able to cancel that one off, and they'll go for a second. As Nando looking for some sweet, sweet revenge. In the meantime, Bob, he ends up going down to Moon in that mid lane, but Raging, he's still the one running. How have they not killed him off yet? The Ignite is there. Nando, he should finally be able to get it done, and he does. The revenge is out from our TA. But while that was happening, John, you lost your Queen of Pain in the mid.
Yeah, it's a pretty big take for Moon. That evens out his lane, evens out that one death he had, and kind of gives SMG the much needed momentum they need. Even up top, they're being really aggressive on Kimizu.
Yeah, he's in big trouble. Great body blocks there from Roger. Just locking him down long enough, and that'll be another kill to go the mid one. So 4 to 5 now is... Well, mid lane again, Bob, he's in danger. Moon, he just won't stop with the aggression. He's quite low on mana, but it may be enough to just get him there. But not quite. Slider Fist on cooldown, so Bob, he is going to be able to barely escape, but it's looking like a very tough game already for Execration. Just so much pressure being applied here from SMG.
Yeah, and SMG are, again, picking up that pace. They've got a lot of roaming potential out with the Bane and with the Grimstroke. They can just show up, try to fight back, force some movements out from Execration side. For Execration, when he supports leave to respond to the opposing supports from SMG, Nando's lane becomes unplayable. Like he's just forced the jungle. It's a slower pace. He is still up there in net worth, number 2 right now. So all things considered, he's not losing as much as you'd expect from that lane. It still is a bit of a slower start for the TA. And we talked about the TA timing swing. Needs that Dragonlance, needs to blink, needs to Desolator up. All of that needs a lot of farm and a lot of space. Execration needs to find a way to give Nano that space out. They are, again, having him in that jungle early, but that is giving a very free lane out to Raging, who does have that Dominator up, and could look to just shove in, force out that bot tier 1, and clear out that entire jungle down bot as well.
And they've already abandoned that bot lane as Roger is trying to target mid. They do get the Ogre, and Moon should be able to set up for a nice easy kill here. The Vincenzo going to try and make it as hard as possible, but it won't be difficult enough. Moon, he'll take another. 2-1 here for the Ember. And then we go with the tier 1 tower trades. Top lane's definitely going to go down here to Execration. SMG, they'll do the exact same thing down a bot. And in the meantime, Moon, he'll be able to pressure a little bit into that mid tier 1.
Very even across the map so far. I think this does still favor SMG to an extent. TPs are being forced down mid though. Moon has to be a bit cautious. They've got Ravage ready and Kimmy's, well, not quite yet. Still level 5. Needs a creep. So they aren't going to be able to go for the chain stun play on the defense, and Moon's going to be able to back off. Bit of a slower pace for Kimizu. Just hit 6 now. They've got that team fight potential, but I think SMG is still very happy with how the game is going. They've had a better time with mid 1's top lane. Even though he did lose that tier 1 tower earlier, he's getting way more farm than Nando is at the moment. Nando playing in the triangle can't really clear these camps out that fast.
Oh, another kill there onto Vincenzo as he tries to move in to protect the tide, but ends up giving his own life back the way of Moon. You have a look at Nando in the meantime on that TA, John. He's catching up to that top net worth spot on that TA, but that's generally where you want to be already if you are Nando. So try to catch his way up now against mid 1. It's not that easy jungling at this level here for Nando. As you can see, he's kind of struggling and might actually die if he's not too careful. Forced to use the traps to be able to take these creeps out. It's very, very awkward for the TA.
Yeah, it's slow going for Nando. He's doing the best he can. I think the big difference right now with the movement from Execration and SMG, Mike, is after that top tier 1 push, Execration's not really looking to force the tier 2s, whereas SMG's just taking over that bot jungle. They have Raging constantly shoving in. They're keeping pressure mid as well. Kimizu.
Yeah, raindrops will block a lot of the damage off from the Ink Swirl, but it may not matter as a Soulbind and double silence is out. Do they have the damage though? Moon is still trying after Kimizu, but he's just so tanky. And now the Ravage flies out. Nando will join in. Moon, though, he is still very healthy. They'll get Roger down, but that's about all they'll get. Bob is forced to intervene and commit the Sonic Wave. And while all that was happening, Carlo, he goes down a bot. It's like Raging Potato, able to pick him off.
I think when you look at what you have to commit to get to his kills, doesn't feel worthwhile, although it's not over.
Yeah, they'll jump in again. Moon just so confident on this Ember to go back in after the Ogre, but he's dropping very low, and Moon could not remnant in time. Vincenzo hands the tip over. Moon just waiting a little bit too long. The chase is still going for the Ogre, and eventually he should go down and does. But it's a big trade-off there for SMG to give up Moon for that Ogre kill.
Yeah, that is massive. I feel like if you manage to back off, knowing that the Tide has committed Ravage, Quap has committed her Sonic Wave, you'd be very happy with having all of those spells thrown out for a support, but having Moon cleaned up like that does make it a little bit more worthwhile. They are keeping up, though.
Make the jump in onto Carlo and Kimizu. He's not too safe either as the Ink Swirl will connect again, and this time, with mid 1 around, they'll have plenty of damage available for the Tidehunter. And this is where things get a little bit scary, John. We talked about the Beastmaster, we talked about the Ember and how aggressive they can be throughout the mid-game. With that tier 1 mid tower dropping like this, they are set to escalate quite fast for SMG.
They just take over that bot jungle as they have been this entire time. It opens up the triangle a little bit more, so they can kind of lock in, prevent Nando from clearing out those Ancients, those large camps he needs, and just completely slow down the TA's pace. Nando is still up there in net worth, though. Not too bad. Again, considering the state of the game, your TA is not lagging too far behind, but you want to be ahead of this hero.
Chains out, Vincenzo just being targeted once again by the Ember. Moon, he does at least get the boundary rune away. And that'll be about it. As Bob will continue chasing down Arfu, and they do. Oh, that's a great deny out from Moon. Really nice deny from Moon on the Ember. So they're looking for more. Kimizu just trying to rush towards Roger, but Roger's out of there. Instead, they'll keep going after the Ember. But can they really deal with Moon? Well, he's out of remnants right now, so perhaps they can. He has another in 1 second, but he's not going to get the chance. Bob timing it perfectly and gives the tip back over to the Ember once again.
Yeah, that does make it worthwhile for Execration. They find a big kill. This allows them to shove in mid. They have decent enough push, but they don't have the Deso up and Nando, so it's not as fast as you'd expect it to be. There is enough time for SMG to kind of respond here. They've got Raging around. He's got Roar ready if they want to counterfight.
That he does. He's unable to break the gap, though, on anyone. He's not really able to get the Roar off, and generally speaking, you'd rather avoid roaring up the tide. That Kraken Shell being available just kind of makes it useless to try and roar that Tide Hunter as Kimizu stay on the front lines, but SMG, they'll just go back into that Radiant jungle and take over that side of the map. And as long as mid one's farming on the TB, you're going to be pretty happy as SMG. I suppose I could say the same thing for Nando on the TA, but he is well and truly behind right now, and against a Terrorblade, it is quite difficult seeing him trying to catch up.
It's just slow going. Nando has such limited space to farm in. Even his own triangle is still not safe with that Obs ward down from SMG. And SMG are just constantly keeping every lane shoved in. Top lane shoved out. The bot lane's constantly shoved in by Raging. They're going to have to deal with that Helm of the Overlord soon, Mike. The parts are all done on Raging, just needs a recipe out. Once you've got that gigantic Ancient creep, it's going to make the fights a lot tougher for Execration. Still, they're smoked up a street. They're going to look for the play. They've got Ravage ready if they do find someone to catch out here.
Execration. Try, smoke will be broken, Raging, he'll be the target now, but he's got help right behind him, Inkswell, they lift him right back into the Inkswell, Ravage has been committed though, they'll try to stop the fight, Roar is out, a double Roar impact, Raging, he sets up, but can they get anything done as Carlo? He had the Fiend's grip, he locked down Moon for a second, it's not quite enough, but in the backside, Bob, he's dealing with Arthur, he's getting the supports down, Moon, he's back in, Nando, he went right into the middle of the team fight, and he's gonna pay for it. Oh, they got the TA down. It ends up being a 3-for-3 in the end, but I think you might call that worth for SMG.
Oh, it's very worthwhile for SMG. Putting out the TA again, just ensuring you're not getting the farm out on Nando makes it very tough for him to, again, hit those item spikes he needs. He's still one part away from the full Desolator. Once you have that, that could open up the possibility for Roshan here on Execration's end, as we tend to see with TAs, and you've got the Tide as well to kind of tank that and give you more minus armor to Gush as well. Issue is, SMG's just working out the map too strong. Like, the bot lane's still constantly shoved in. Once mid one shows up, you don't really have the full burst to handle the Terrorblade just yet. You can maybe look for some stolen spells from Carlo, but the focus is so split up. There's a lot of combinations here from SMG that makes it very hard for Execration to fight into Mike. Like, they have Ravage, which is great, but you have to deal with double Roar, double Grip, as we saw in that last engagement, and just cutting off Kimizu from finding a good time to use Ravage early on in the fight complicates things for Execration to a huge degree. I think there's a lot of pressure on Kimizu and on Carlo to actually find a good angle to turn these fights around, and they've been doing as well as you could hope on Execration's end. It's still not the ideal situation for them. SMG, 4K lead, mid one still completely uncontested on that TV, and they're just not getting any respite. You know, Moon is just constantly keeping the aggression on the triangle, cutting off stacks, cutting off any sort of farm here.
Oh, Moon, he's gonna move in onto Bob now, but he will be able to blink away. Only level 1 chains there from Moon. Carlo now, he's gonna show up. Trying to play around here with Moon with the Line of Fist towards the north. They're just locking everyone else down, so Vincenzo just making it a 1v1 between Carlo and Moon. Carlo is still alive though, just barely, and the raindrops keep him alive now with the remnant damage. What they found, they are still trying to fight, and they will get Roger. So Execration somehow get Carlo out, and they actually pick up a kill for themselves.
Yeah, a nice kill coming out from Execration. They also managed to save most of their Ancient stacks, so Nando does get some farm going for himself, which is great news for Execration side. SMG, I think they're still fine with that though. Like, you still have like a free bot lane, bot jungle, mid one was playing it into the triangle. You're gonna hit this insanely early butterfly timing on mid one, Mike. Once that physical evasion stuff, your TA, your physical combination with the Tide falls apart. You have to build something to counteract the evasion. And mid one's going to be a massive issue. You're going to be relying mainly on Bob to burst down that Terrorblade. They do have the magic damage on hand with a Quap, but I think mid one's timing into these engagements have been perfect. And he comes in at the tail end after the initiation spells are done, and that means the burst damage is already gone. So the Terrorblade only has to worry about the physical here.
Bot lane, Vincenzo again, just in deep, deep waters and raging. He will happily just put his head back underwater as Vincenzo. Well, he'll try to run. I suppose you've got some information here for the rest of Execration, but it does seem like a very free kill to just give back the way of mid one, who does actually get it with an illusion. Very nice. A bit more bonus gold coming the way of the TB, as now Carlo's going to get caught out. Moon able to pick up another kill on the Ember now. The top lane, bit more action. They found Bob. Rogers got the Fiend's Grip. They should have plenty of damage with mid one, but the Ravage is there. Kamisu and the Sonic Wave going to take down one, but there's your Soulbind. Where's the Blink out? He can't get it. He's going to end up dropping Bob. He does eventually go down, and now Kamisu, can he get himself out? It just doesn't seem like it. There is no exit. It'll be another for mid one. And SMG, it just feels like they're taking every fight they can get right now, and they just keep winning them out. As Nando, he's been slowed up. Roar is there by raging. He's just locked down. Can he find a way out of this one? It doesn't seem like it. It might be Roshan time, John.
Oh, it definitely is. They've got the butterfly up on mid one now. I mean, 17-minute butterfly. 17, 18-minute butterfly here. Power Treads, Dragonlance butterfly. He's so confident. He knows that the magic damage is all down to Bob. Bob's not been hunting down the Terrorblade, so, you know, he can just jump in, evade all the hits, tank up for the team afterwards, after that initial spell use, and clean up from there. Aegis up in mid one, you have to kill him twice. Gonna be a tough call for Execration to deal with that. And the game isn't as one-sided as you'd expect. 12 to 19, 7k lead for SMG isn't the biggest. Still not completely unplayable for Execration yet, but they need so many more items here, Mike. Desolator's up on Nando, going for the blink next. It feels like they need BKBs to start flowing out as well.
Nando, not again. Inkswell is out. Moon, Remnants forward with the chains. They've got the lockdown. This TA, how do you survive this? He's trying with the help of Carlo, but it's not looking good. The chase continues from Moon, and they've got another, it seems, as Nando will just immediately drop again. I mean, what do you do, John? They're just so aggressive on SMG. And Nando, he just can't catch a break.
No. He just has nowhere to play. While that fight breaks out as well, mid one's just focused in on that top tier 2 tower. It's a Terrorblade with Butterfly. He can just melt these towers by himself.
Yeah, Bob's in trouble. Raging, just taking down the right tree line there. And in fact, a Soulbind into a double Fiend's Grip is out. It's just a perfect combination from SMG as they take down 4 for nothing. And then onto the tier 3 towers, John. This draft, well, once they take off, they really take off, and well, that's exactly what SMG have done.
Yeah, there's just no stopping it. Like, they can only find one set of racks. I think if they were really feeling confident, they could just go tier 4s, because there's no Ravage for a little bit longer. It is back up. There is some team fight, but yeah, they're going for it.
Well, they're diving foul to John Moon. He really wants Nando another time. Onto the tier 4s they go. I mean, respawns are coming up. Mid one, how confident are you, sir? Apparently very easy. He just continues onto the little shrine there. But now everyone else coming up online. Looks like they might have to play it a little bit safer, though I say that. Mid one still playing around very aggressively. With the Metamorphosis on half its duration, he won't stop. In fact, Vincenzo, he moves forward. He's going to drop. Ravages out. Kamizu landing on 3 with the Sonic Wave is there. They've got the Aegis down, but now the Roar is out. They've got the Rubik Carlo. He's going to drop first. Moon, who do you go after next? Chains is there on Nando, but he's taking way too much damage, Moon. He's going to drop, bleeding a lot of gold back the way of Nando as they jump in onto Arfu now. They've got their Grimstroke down. Mid one and Raging Potato, they need to find their own way out. They'll try to keep mid one alive. Has he gone too far? It looks like he has, but no, the Sunder. Mid one, he'll just keep going. Onto Kamisu now. The Tidehunter trying to hide in the tree line, but it's not enough. Raging, meanwhile, just going after Vincenzo. They clean them up again.
Oh,
in the end, I mean, they got a few kills there, John, but just not enough to make it look worth.
I mean, they hold off on the Ancients dropping at the least. I think that's the worst case scenario for Execration, where they lose out in the buybacks and don't manage to find mid one while Metamorphosis is running, you know, and not pop the Aegis there. So they managed to stall out the game a little bit more, but it's still looking really good for SMG. That forced so many buybacks out. It forced a really complicated fight for Execration. Nando is not living through these engagements, so he's really not getting the gold he needs. He is working towards the BKB next, Mike, as we talked about, skipping that blink. So he understands he needs the spell immunity to stand forward. SMG still has a lot of ways to play against that, though. They've got Roar, they've got Fiend Script. So even with the BKB to protect from, say, the Ember, I don't know if you'll actually fix the issues you have in this game. I think the big issue right now for Execration is that SMG is the one dictating these fights. Kind of like what we saw in the first series. They need to be able to play around their tide instead. Kimizu is going for the Ags build, looking for the D push, kind of long game here. So no blink initiation. I think until you get the point where you can actively jump in and set the terms of these fights yourself, it's going to be a bit tough until that moment where your tide can open the fights for you.
Go. SMG looking at that high ground again. Metamorphs up in 5. Ravage still 25 seconds away, and even with that Ravage up, it just doesn't feel like they have the follow-up right now on Execration to really defend this bottom lane of Barracks here against SMG. There's your meta pop now. Mid one not playing around is Vincenzo. He just melts, and now Moon again. He's found that target. He loves to aim down. It's gonna be Nando. That'll be another kill out for Moon as Carlo. He also gets caught out. They'll try to commit the Sonic Wave. They might find Moon, and they do. As Carlo barely survives with a slither of HP, but Moon, he's bought so much space, and now the Fiend's Grip. Roger always finding the target he wants. The Ravage just way too late by Kimizu and SMG. They should be able to just secure Megas as GG's called. They've seen enough. Such a dominant victory here from SMG for game number 1.
Oh, they play extremely well on SMG's side. They knew they had this timing with the Beastmaster off lane. They knew they could just look to play push after a point. And I think it boils down to really that lane. I think Kimizu's lane went well enough. Bob's lane, you know, back and forth with Moon. But really, Nando's lane was just completely shut out. He was still finding some farm, but you're a TA against Beastmaster. You don't really have much to play with there. Your support couldn't burn down the boars. And because of that, the boars were always applying that pressure, always ensuring that Nando was not secure with a refraction. We got that really quick timing on the helm of the Dominator into that push. And then we saw Midwin come out with a really quick butterfly, knowing that the timing was there. He knew they just needed to clump up, play Deathball, and run down, and Execration didn't have the lineup to stop it.
No, they certainly didn't, Jonathan. I mean, every lane just being won by SMG quite convincingly, and I suppose with that, at least we are into a best of 3. So game 2 will be coming up after a very short break. We'll head off to that break, and we'll be back with our lovely panel.